right? Paramedics come, ended up fighting with my dad. My dad's not letting them touch my brother, you know, so in between that time, you know, I don't know what could have happened, but yeah, he ended up passing away.
Ready? Welcome to another episode of Life and Times with Tub City. I got a special guest in the building, a friend that I met. He's been real instrumental in my new line of work, and he's mentored me, gave me advice. He's a real solid dude. He's got a great story, and he's funny as hell. I'd like to welcome John Guerrero to the couch. What's up, man? I appreciate you coming and taking your time out and spending time away from your Harley.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're a Harley guy.
Yes, I am. Sir.
What you got for the people? What would you? I'm not a bike guy, but
I got 2016 Fat Boy S, Vivid Black.
So that means
Eagle, dual cam.
So that's
101 cc. It's as big as it gets.
I tried to, when you told me to touch it, I tried to. Nah, it's too heavy, bro.
It's big. It's 850 pounds.
Nah, I'm good.
I love it.
I'm gonna stick to the 4 doors, the sedans.
Yeah, sedans. Yes, sir.
Man, I appreciate you coming. On Life and Times in Tub City, I have people that, you know, I have relationships with, and I, you know, find out about their background, their story and stuff. And the first question is always, do you remember our first interaction together? If you don't, I have a story for you, though, that you probably don't even know.
I mean, I don't remember exactly where it was. I think maybe the case manager's office when we first started. I mean, I don't know. I remember saying something goofy. Yeah.
I remember coming to the interview, and I saw you. I was like, dang. Because you walked by, I was like, dang, this dude got tattoos. Like, if they might accept me. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, this is dope. If he working here, then my little tattoos, I might be all right.
That's real talk. I mean, we could discuss a little bit about that. I'll tell you what, man, the culture wasn't like that before.
Really?
Before, not even 8 years ago, if you came into Horizons, it was bleak, it was dark, it was moody, it was medical. You know what I mean? And people did not like being in there, man.
Yeah.
But now, you know, we have a big change in our leadership team and shareholders and community partners. Yeah. And they're a lot more, you know, lenient, and they like color now. You know, it's more colorful. So when people walk in there, the mood is different, bro.
It definitely
and
is.
it's the same thing for people that's coming in that are trying to get a job, and they're like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it was a sigh of relief for me. I'll tell you, like, yeah. So that was dope. What I don't know if I can ask this now, or do I need to wait until we get there with the tattoos? Is that was that a sporadic thing or an overtime thing?
Man, I'm hella impulsive, bro. So yeah, in the joint.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so we'll get to that. So, where were you born? Like, where are you from? Like,
I was born in Ventura, California. It's about 40 miles north of Los Angeles.
Okay.
Born there, went to middle school there. I lived in multiple different places, though, in between, you know, birth and 13 years old. So,
okay.
We lived in Maryland, Missouri.
Really?
Yeah. So I was split up a lot, man. My parents got divorced when I was 8.
Okay.
And up until that point, my dad was a severe alcoholic, man. And he used to beat
from 0 to 8.
From 0 to 8. Yeah.
Okay.
From 0 to 8 years old. So there was a lot of abuse growing up.
Okay.
And you know, it was what it was. My mom was 100% German. My dad was 100% Mexican.
What? Your mom's German?
Yeah. So my brown side hated my white side.
Okay.
So I'm the brown sheep on the white side. I'm the white sheep on the brown side. You know what I'm saying? So it was rough for me and my brother, my younger brother.
Okay.
He was 6 when my dad and my mom separated.
Okay.
And then I ended up staying with my dad, my brother with my mom.
Was that your choice, or was it just, it happened like that?
No, it was custody back then. This was 1983. You know what I mean? So the custody was just, it was black and white.
Yeah.
You go with dad, you go with mom, 1-on-1 custody.
Gotcha.
They try to be even and all that crazy stuff, but it was influential as well, because parents could manipulate the system and yada yada. I think it was just, my mom didn't want to lose either one of us. My dad wanted to be my dad and possessive and have something to hold.
Yeah. How was, with you guys splitting up, do you think that shaped you differently? Or what?
You mean us as
you and your sibling?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Really?
He moved with my mom.
Okay.
My mom ended up going to Missouri.
Okay.
That's what the back and forth is. My grandparents are from there. And she went and lived with them because, she didn't have a job. My dad was always working in kitchens or bars doing, odds and ends. He was a truck driver for a long while. But, in the Missouri and Kansas area, my brother did. I stayed in Southern California, so I ended up gangbanging and doing all kinds of dumb shit where he was here going to school, playing football and, doing all that. He went to Prairie Hills here, way back in the day.
Okay.
So we were separated until he turned 14 and I was 16.
Okay.
My mom couldn't handle him because he was starting to fight people and get into all kinds of shit and sent him out to live with me and my dad.
Okay.
Well, my dad was still an alcoholic at the time, in between us back and forth and me visiting and whatnot. My brother had never been there before, right? He gets down to, at this time we're in Oxnard, California, which is right next to Ventura. And my brother comes down. It's a complete culture shock for him.
Gotcha. Me
and my brothers and my stepbrother and my, all the people I hang around, we're gangbanging hard. We're Southsiders and we're, doing it to it. And he's this jock football kid from Kansas, right? He's thrown in the middle of this shit, so he's strapped up dickies and just started, just full force gangbanging with fools against fools, and just fell into that life right away. Well, we didn't know this. He was playing football out here, mind you, for Prairie Hills at the time.
Okay.
He had just had a full physical for football. They didn't catch it, but he had cardiomyopathy, and he passed away 7 months after he got to California. He was 14 and I was 16. My dad was drunk. He couldn't do nothing about it. He couldn't help. I was trying to do,
like he's in the house?
He ran outside. So what happened was my dad was arguing with his current girlfriend, right? And my brother ain't been around that shit. He was never around that stuff.
Yeah.
So he was too young to remember back when, but he hadn't been around that because, like I said, different lifestyle out here than it is out there. Dad's still the same, beating on his girlfriend. And, to us, it's just a normal thing. Me and my stepbrother and my stepsister, we weren't tripping, but he, went into this panic. And I think that's what eventually caused his heart to give out, is because he felt something was going on. I couldn't tell. I was just 16, I couldn't help him, but I could tell he felt something was going on, and he ran outside the door like to get a breath, and he fell, boom, and I went to go try to wake him up, and I couldn't do it, and I had to run to a neighbor's house and shit because my dad was falling down drunk and in no condition to help, right? Paramedics come, ended up fighting with my dad. My dad's not letting them touch my brother, so in between that time, I don't know what could have happened, but he ended up passing away. So that's one of the things that hit me pretty hard.
Is there any resentment towards your dad for that?
Oh, fuck yeah.
For real?
And I voiced it. You know what I'm saying?
When you were later on, or at that time?
Later.
Okay.
I was too afraid of my dad to do anything.
At that point in time?
Yeah, up until I was 22, 23, I started getting bigger in them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, I voiced it, through my recovery process when I first started, getting right after all the nonsense. I let him know, you know what I mean? And now we got a good relationship. And the funny how it works is that he's sober now. He's not drinking. He's got a wife. He's got another little daughter, my little sister, doing well for himself, you know what I mean? And I'm just like, whatever happened. You can't change it. Just move forward with it, but that still fucks with me. Losing my brother at that age, it's traumatizing. You feel helpless. You don't know what to do. I was out there, thought I was a man, gangbanging and being hard.
But they hit you can't. Ain't nobody that tough. Yeah,
you ain't tough, man.
Yeah. So your brother leaves at 8, or your brother leaves at 14?
He dies at 14. We separated at 8. I was 8. He was 6.
Okay, so at 8, when is the transition from I'm a kid? The 80s is we're playing with big wheels, and when is the transition from being a kid to I'm in the streets?
So the messed up part of it, bro, is that there was no transition.
What you mean?
It was straight child. We were broke, man. We had nothing. You know what I mean? We had nothing. I think it was 12 of us, me and my cousins, because we would travel back and forth from Los Angeles to Oxnard to Ventura. It's in the same area, but it's different relatives and shit. You know, because my dad was alcoholic. Nobody wanted to put up with him. Nobody, but he would, as jacked up as he was, he still tried to be a dad. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But he was still driving a truck long haul. So me, I would be left in an apartment with one of my cousins for 2 weeks at a time, you know what I'm saying? We'd go, and this is back when you had food stamps that were actually money, right? You pull them out the book, you have a hundo, go to the store, you think you balling.
Yes.
Yeah, we like, but we were kids, bro. All we did was go buy cereal, milk, maybe a big hunk of rolled bologna. You cut big old chunks of bologna sandwiches. Yeah, and we survived like that. We got ourselves up for school. So basically, it was like we had our own apartment. My dad was never there. You know what I mean? The school was right across the street. We lived in this cul-de-sac right across the street from the middle school where we went. So we just went to school every day. And if we didn't go to school, my dad would get a call when he's in his truck somewhere else delivering whatever, because he would go back and forth from coast to coast, produce and things like that. And yeah, he would let us know. He'd be like, yeah, when I come home, you missed two classes, right? So in his own way, he was a dad, right? Disciplinarian, nonetheless, but he was abusive, and so there really wasn't a transition from being a kid to in the streets. It was more like there was no transitional period in between. Gotcha. It was, I went from a youngster to not having shit to wanting shit, and at 13 years old, to going out and hustling and getting it. But I had other influences too, like my older cousin, my older uncles. They were deep in the gangbanging life. You know what I mean?
So what is the proper term? Because in Louisiana, I would say we had gangs, but I don't think it was to the magnitude, of course, of California. So when is it put on? Is it?
We get jumped in.
Jumped in. Okay. So what age were you then?
I was 13 years old.
And you said, this is what I want to do, or?
Well, like I said, my family was involved, you know what I mean? Yeah. You're kind of born into the neighborhood that you're born in, right?
Yeah.
Essentially. That's where you claim your territory, because, I was born in, Ventura, California, but I didn't bang a Ventura set because I moved out of Ventura at like 8 years old, went to LA, was from Rockwood Street Gang. So, yeah, and that's where all my family banged from. We were on Belmont area, Burlington, Bonnie Bray, that little area in West LA.
And during this 13 to 18-ish, are you in school? Are you like living both lives, or did you just cut one of them off?
No, I was in school. I tried to stay in school for as long as I could. I made it to 10th grade, got into some shit, committed some crimes, and got thrown to youth authority, Pico and Billings, from 14 and a half to 18.
Wait, you got in trouble, or you was incarcerated?
I was in trouble and caught a charge and got incarcerated.
For 4 years?
Yeah. So I got out 2 years later. That's when my brother came to move in with us. 7 months later, he passed away.
Gotcha.
Then I got into all kinds of shit after that and got violated from the state of California. So.
Okay. Can you talk about what, like a charge, or what got you the 4 years?
It was vehicular homicide.
Okay.
Vehicular homicide with self-defense stipulation.
Okay. And then you do 4 years. This is in juvie.
Juvie. Youth authority.
Youth authority. Okay.
Right.
What did that teach you? Was it positive, negative?
Youth authority?
Yes.
No, it was bad. It was all bad. It was all bad. They teach you how to be a worse criminal. You're in there with you got to remember, these are juveniles from 12 to 24, okay? And at that time, you weren't an adult until you were 24 years old. So you would end up doing time unless you were adjudicated, which means if you're adjudicated, you go from 18 straight to the big time, to the prison. Luckily, I didn't. I wasn't adjudicated. So, yeah.
Did it help you, rehabilitate you, or whatever, or did it enhance it?
My point was those juveniles, those 12 to 24, that's the prime youth time where you're trying to prove yourself and earn your stripes for your gang, whatever gang that is, whatever neighborhood you're from.
And it's still gangs inside of the prison.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's even worse there because there's nowhere to go. You can talk shit to the next man, but you know, you're right there in the cells with them. You're right there in the facility with them. So sooner or later, you're gonna have to answer for that beef. Whereas on the streets, it's a little softer because you can run and hide. You know, if you start shit, you know, you can't. Okay. There's no escaping there. So enemies from the streets, and because juvie and YA is this surrounding 30, 40 different neighborhoods in that area that YA would hold. Okay? Yeah. It's like Reno County here, right? Yeah. Reno County Jail holds Reno County people. Ventura County Youth Authority holds Ventura people. Pico and Billings holds East LA, such and such. Okay. So you have all these enemy neighborhoods together in one area, and then their street beef becomes the inside beef.
Did they try to separate you?
No. So they segregate, and they segregate Sureños, which is Southern Mexicans. They segregate Northerners. They segregate blacks. They segregate Crips from Bloods. So you're together with your Sureño families. So that's why they say in the joint, the street beef stops. But still, there's there's a lot of fighting. There's a lot of stabbings. There's a lot of hatred in there. Between.
So your nationality overrules your set, kinda.
Your set and your nationality. So you could be, let's say, a Chicano from LA and a South Sider, but you could also be a Chicano from San Francisco and a North Sider. You're still the same race, but you're different gangs. That's how you're separated by the color of the flag you represent or the number.
And looking back in retrospect, even if it was negative, what did it teach you?
I mean, there are some positive. There's some byproducts of doing time with serious people like that and having to watch your back. You learn what to say, what not to say. You learn who to stay away from, who to deal with, and in that it's a negative aspect to it because you learn how to become a manipulator. You learn how to become a puppet master, so to speak, by preying on people's weaknesses or preying on their personality traits. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of good and a lot of bad. You learn real quick how not to get into train wrecks, meaning, beefs with your own people or beefs, inside the place is going to make your situation worse.
I can say, now that you say that, my best friend, he was incarcerated. You and him are the most respectful people I know in my life. Because it's almost like, and I'm assuming, you don't want to disrespect anyone, so they disrespect you, so you have to act like how you can act. So you overly
set the scene for yourself is what you do, bro. Yeah. Because number one, in that aspect where you're talking about work, okay, you have to be, consistency is key, bro, period. And I've spent, now this goes to say, for now, I've spent so much time being an asshole, bro, and being a piece of shit to people or doing just wrong and being, something that like now makes me want to throw up thinking about, right? Yeah. You know what I mean? Because I would full on rather be a room full of respect and love than this behind the walls, behind the bricks rat type behavior that some people, display, bro. And those type of fools, and from being a little kid locked up, those are the type of fools you that either become victims in that situation or in them areas, okay, or they end up dead, and you don't want to be that person, man. And because of that, I can spot a person like that a mile away, bro. You know what I mean? So if I ain't cool with you and I ain't respectful with you and I ain't fun and joking with you, I don't fuck with you. That's all there's to it. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
And I'm respectful towards everybody because, like you said, there's situations that I want to set up for myself. Because if I break the ice with somebody and disrespect them, like while I'm playing with them or something, and they say something to me, and then I get those old feelings back, you know what I mean? Like, you say to me, bro, you know what I mean? Like, and then, so you setting up, situations like that for yourself is a mistake, and I try hard not to put myself in a position to be that old person, you know what I mean?
Okay, so you get out of YA, you're 18?
Yeah.
You get out first day, what is your mindset?
I'm getting the fuck out of here. I came straight to Kansas with my mom.
Oh.
Yeah, I came to Kansas when I was 18. That's where I met my wife. That's when I met my wife.
Really?
Yeah, she was 16. We didn't mess around though.
Okay.
Till later on in life.
Yeah,
okay? Yeah. So I met her here in Kansas. When I visited here, I was here for like 3 months.
And then you and your brother went back?
No, my brother had already passed away.
Oh, he had already passed?
Yeah.
Oh, so, okay, I messed my timeline up. So your brother came out there prior to you going in?
He came out, I got out, and then my brother came.
Got you. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay, so you come to Kansas, then what? What are you doing? So basically, you're saying you're trying to be a better person now. You don't want to do that stuff.
No, man, no. I got into some shit and ran to Kansas after I violated. Came here without permission.
Can you speak on that?
Yeah.
Or okay.
Yeah. I came out here without permission because I caught some shit out there. Okay, so let me back up.
Okay.
I got out. My dad, while I was in, moved to Las Vegas.
Okay.
So when I got out, I had nobody. I didn't have anybody to go to. I tried to stay with my grandparents, but they're pretty old, and they had a lot of people already staying with them, my cousins, and I don't know, it's that old cliche, Mexicans stay in the house. That's what it was. But this was an apartment building.
Good.
So couldn't stay there with them. Left with a homie, actually. I brought a homie with me from YA to Kansas. We ended up getting some shit here. So
you came on a trip. You didn't tell your
PO state. Nobody knew I was coming.
Okay,
I come here without permission, so they got me on a whereabouts and availability violation.
Okay.
Number one, the minute I left the state of California.
Okay.
Come here, get into some shit here. It was, I think it was, I was tagging some gangster shit down on the South Main Street.
So this is in Hutch.
It's in Hutch.
Oh, okay, go.
Yeah, it's in Hutch.
Okay.
So I'm graffitiing all this gang shit, right? Well, I don't know that there's no gangs here, right? So they knew I was in town. They knew I was, the local law enforcement back then. There was like 2 cops, you know what I mean? And they knew all the kids and knew everybody. Yeah. And I'd been here for maybe a month and a half, I think. So I ended up bringing my little homie from YA down here, told everybody it was my foster brother. They put us in school. My mom did. Said if we was going to be here, we was going to be here in school. So my first thing that I did was I had nicotine gum. Okay, because I was still considered a junior here, even though I was 18. I didn't have the credentials from YA because you don't go to school in YA,
gotcha. None
of that. So they tried to stick me in school here because truancy and all that stuff. My mom was so afraid of it. They took me to Prairie Hills.
Hold on, stop. Hold on. First, you're leaving California to come here. What was your reason to leave?
I left there because I violated.
No, what was your am I going to visit my mom and I'm coming right back, or I'm just out? I don't care.
No, I'm leaving. I'm
Okay.
gone. I'm coming to Kansas to live.
Okay.
I'm thinking.
Okay.
Then my mom started pulling all the stuff because I came here with the homies. She put us in school.
Got you. Okay.
So I'm at Bueller High School for like 3 days.
What?
This is crazy, bro.
You're serious?
I'm telling you, man. We got put in Bueller High School, from day one.
Bueller's like going to, I'm trying to give him context. It's like going to Columbus.
Listen,
go.
I'm telling you.
Go.
So listen, that's what I'm saying. I'm in Dickies, Chucks, white t-shirt. Look at white t-shirt, got my white beater, got my 3 creases, all this. I'm creased out at Bueller, bro. Yeah. What was the principal's name?
Oh my God, this is.
Anyways, yeah. So we're there and we're dressed up,
It's 2 of y'all.
Yeah, and we're both gangbangered out, right? So Boys in the Hood just came out not long ago and just hit Kansas, right? So we show up and kids at Bueller, they're just talking shit because we dress crazy, we dress funny. You like, oh, you think you're Boys in the Hood and this and that. And these you gotta, man, back then, okay, Kansas kids were wearing cardigans and penny loafers and just
Eastlands, probably Eastland, yeah,
tight pants on and so what the fuck is this? So we're like, no, we ditch. The first day we're there, we leave school because we're not fucking with it. They catch us, the Bueller police brings us back to the office. The next day, okay, we get back on the bus. Mom's like, you're gonna come back to school or you're not gonna live here. So I get there, I stole a bunch of my mom's nicotine gum and I'm giving it to all the kids in school. They call the police on me because I'm distributing a prescribed medication because it was prescribed to my mom, a prescription drug. So I'm giving kids at school nicotine gum so we don't got to go smoke cigarettes in the back of the school, right? Okay, so they got me for that, busted me here. I had to get sent back to California. By the time I got back to California, though, my probation was up, so all I had to do was a court appearance, go back. So we take off. Brian, the homie I brought here, gets stranded here, right?
Wait, you go back to California?
I go back to California.
And then you take off back?
I take off again and I go to Las Vegas.
Okay.
Yeah. So get to Las Vegas, I'm trying to look up my uncle because my dad supposedly has a place out there. But then when I get there, he had, I try to finagle stuff while I was in California.
Wait a minute, bro. You're telling me you left California and didn't know where your dad and your uncle was?
No, because they had gone to Vegas while I was.
So you're in Las Vegas. You're in the city and don't know where they're at.
No, I'm in Los Angeles and then I go to Las Vegas. I'm looking for my uncle. I have an address, but he's no longer at this address.
Okay.
Then I get a hold of my dad. He gives me his address, but he has this new girlfriend, right, that he's staying with, and he's always been the type of dude that would pick ladies over anything,
okay.
Right? Whether it be me or my other half brothers, or there's a bunch of stuff going on with other siblings everywhere.
Okay.
We find out later in life, right? But so I get there. He says, "Yeah, come on over." I get there. I have one little duffel bag full of stuff, and he's like, "Hey, you can't stay here."
You just told me to come here, though.
Yeah. His old lady didn't like the idea of him having a kid with another lady there in the house, right? Like as if my mom mattered in the situation, since I was 8 years old when they separated, so she ain't been in the picture for a long time, but it's just some weird jealousy things there. But he's like, "You can't stay here." So okay, I leave his house. I go to this place called Budget Suites. I have about $1,200 in my pocket. I can rent me a studio for a week and try to find me a job, right, for $805 a month. That puts me $400 in my pocket to live off of after that week and be homeless if I have to. I just so happens they were building the Stratosphere Hotel Casino, bro, and I got me a job there. Got me a job with Stratosphere. So I'm about to be 19 years old, right? I'm working at the Stratosphere, scared to death of heights, and I'm going up and down this 800-foot tower. I lost my job on the 4th day on that part of the job because they put me on my harness and I freaked out, and by the time I got up to the top, I was passed out on the harness like this from the fear of the heights, man.
I'm scared of heights.
They're like, you can't be up here, you can't be doing this, it's a safety hazard. So they put me downstairs driving a forklift, moving liquor and stuff into the brand new fridges that they built for the casino and all that, man. I was making good money, bro. I went and rented my own house, got loose, just became this whole different person, right?
Okay. Just pre-tattoos?
No, I had some tattoos from YA.
Okay, go.
Arms and legs.
Okay.
These weren't out here yet.
Okay.
So I'm living it up. I get involved in the street life around with Vegas, which was not good. You know what I mean?
Is the street life in Vegas different from street life in LA?
Way different. Way more money driven and not gangbanging driven, right? So it's more hustler, hustler type.
So what was your thing?
My hustle?
Yeah. What was your hustle in Vegas?
Everything, narcotics, anything narcotics. I could hustle from each corner of Vegas, you know what I mean? Go pick up on the west side of the weed, deliver that to the northern white boys, the rich kids up here in the suburbs. Go pick up some acid, go hit the hippies over in Tropicana and Jones area. Yeah, dude, it was crazy. You had this whole little network of different people that would buy from me.
So you're working in the daytime?
Working in the daytime, just doing little side hustles at night.
Do you have a goal? Like, am I trying to get a car? I'm trying to get a house. I'm trying to save up
I didn't worry about no car or nothing like that, man, because there's public transportation there in Vegas, and you can get anywhere in a taxi cab for $5. You know what I mean? So it wasn't, I really didn't have no goals. I just wanted to maintain my household. You got to remember, too, I came from not having shit. So I was buying Jordans, I had, gold, I had, jewelry. A car I wasn't even tripping on. As long as I had some fresh kicks on, nice clothes, I was cool. My apartment had the nice sound system, big old bed, it was cool, man.
So how long,
I started getting sloppy, started doing my product, started using dope.
Is this the first time you started using?
Other than weed, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I got to Vegas. It was bad. It was bad news. Strip clubs, and it's all based on dope out there. Everything. So I got real heavy into cooking meth with some people. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and that was part of my downfall. I started doing that. Got into a couple of fights. Got involved with these cats that were Bloods from the West Side on this little gun transaction, and we got popped. One of these blood dudes flipped the script and started telling on everything. So I got hammered for that. I had gotten to a fight with a dude, Julian Washington. I don't know if you know who that is, but he was one of the running backs for UNLV College.
Okay.
I beat his ass with a 40 bottle because he was beating up his girlfriend in a parking lot. He was an athlete, star athlete. Police came after me for it, right? So I fought the cops, got hammered for that. I was waiting on court for that at the time, and then that other little shit happened where they busted my dudes and we got busted for the guns. So I got thrown in the Clark County jail, man, and did 4.5 years in high desert state. So now I'm back in prison. Yeah. In another state, right? Nobody, you know, my dad ain't messing with me. My mom's in Kansas, you know, got my little sister, my little half sister. That's another little sibling.
Okay, I want to talk about this, what you said, Clark County.
Yep.
And I don't want to miss this because you told me this before. When is it when you go to down south? Is that before or after?
To Mexico. That's right after I left the prison in Nevada.
Okay, so you're and can we talk about that?
I mean...
No? It's fine.
Yeah, I'd rather not.
Okay, so what is the difference between Nevada prison and what you dealt with?
In the YA?
Yes.
It's the same.
Okay.
It's the same. Nevada's close enough to California to where they're the same people that match up, you know, and also in Nevada, the only difference, there's a lot of people running from California, so there's a lot of busters and fakes out there that have...
They was fake hard out there, but now they're saying they're hard over here.
Exactly, and they're starting up California sets out in Nevada. There's a whole political thing in prison that it's yeah, that's a whole nother thing of, you know, the whole thing doing time there, you know, because Nevada has their Mexican mafia, California has their Mexican mafia. So it's on site between the two. When I got into the Nevada prison system, that was in its infancy, so there wasn't too much beef. They were just considered another clique. It was called MRU, which is Mi Raza Unida, and then there's Southern United Raza, which is the Sur, which is my side. Okay. And ended up...
And are you active?
Me right now?
No, at that time.
At that time, oh hell yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, yeah. I got the X3, so yeah. There's no choice whether or not I want to be involved, because once you hit that gate, your papers are classified. If you're affiliated or you know, what's the word they use? Verified.
Okay.
A verified gang member in California, you know, if you have the tattoos, you're automatically put on the gang list. So when you walk into a joint like Nevada, they check your tattoos first, and they're like, oh, you're a Sureño, you're going here. Oh, you're Crip, you're going here. And they separate you like that.
So you're active. So your mindset, I'm talking about mindset, is it, I'm just doing what I got to do to survive?
It's exactly what it is.
Okay.
I wasn't trying to be nothing above what I needed to be.
Got it.
You know, that's you could, a street gangbanger is different. You can call yourself a gangbanger in the street and that's cool, but if you're a soldier in the joint, then you're a soldier. You know what I mean? You're going to do what everybody tells you to do, and that's you. If you're going to be representing these numbers and do that, when it comes time to answer for it, you're going to answer for it. You know what I mean? And in the joint, they're going to call on you to do what you got to do to represent that shit. You know what I mean? And if not, you're going to be either PC'd up and you're going to have a shitty ass existence in that joint, or you're going to put in your work and get your, you know, pay your dues and survive. You know, that's what it is, man.
So a lot of people on the street, it's convenient to do things on the street.
It's easier to represent
on the street.
Yeah, it's easier to represent on the street. You can be anything behind a camera and on social media and all that, but really, I mean, you know, when you go to the joint, that's when you're really tested as far as, are you gonna put your work in? It's way easier to kill somebody on the street, all right, but it's also way easier to kill somebody on the street. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In the joint, you got to work to get somebody. You got to work to put that, you know, to get them stripes. You know, you ain't got guns. You know, so you have to manually try to do something to somebody and prove to your people that you're down to do what you do. Like the first thing that happened to me in the culinary unit was we went at it with the Bloods. It was on site with the Bloods from the whole time I was incarcerated in Nevada to the time I got out after that. Right, I got thrown in. We were in the culinary and. This young fish, this Blood, he wanted to sit at our tables, and it was a no-no. You don't do that.
Why? Why did he want to? He was just proving a point.
He didn't want to. He was a fish. He was brand new and didn't realize that there were certain places to sit at. But he was politely asked to leave, and then he was like, you know, fuck you. You know, that was it. He said, all right, well, this is our table, homie. You're gonna move. So an OG Blood came over to him and was like, get up, homie. Let's go over to our side. Right? He turns around and he looks at the homie, and this is the homie Speedy. He's from Coachella. It's crazy down there in Coachella. It's a little different gangbanging out there. It's like knives all the time.
Where's that?
Way south, Southern California, San Bernardino area.
Gotcha, okay.
He turns around and tells Speedy, he's like, I'm gonna be there in the morning again. So we geared up. We got ready to get down, man.
That's the blood.
That's the blood, the youngster, the little Pee-wee.
So he's just trying to prove a point.
He's trying to prove a point, but at what detriment? Because now you've got two big size family syndicated groups about to go at it because of this one dumbass mistake, right? Well, we get there in the culinary for breakfast, bro. Sure enough, that kid's sitting at our table. It was on right there. We all jumped on the rail, got him. I got hit. I don't know if you see this right here, but they shot. I got hit in the face with bird shot, but I was underneath of a table just hitting this dude. Boom, 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 hitting him. Just the closest enemy to me, I'm stabbing, because I'm not going to be sitting there going out like a punk when it's time to jump, because the captains are watching. They're not fighting. They're looking at who's getting down out of the group. And then from there, in that situation, you either get ranked up or you get bitched out, right? Well, I'm putting in my work. So I end up getting charged with inciting a riot. I get charged with mayhem and malicious destruction, assault with a deadly weapon, and I get thrown into Ely Supermax for 18 months up north.
So you got transferred out?
18 months of my sentence. My last of my sentence, I'm in a 6x10 box. 23.45 a day. You get a 15-minute shower every 3 days.
What?
Yeah, for that. But it's the best fucking thing that could ever happen to me, because I was not having to be on the main line, putting all that work in for nothing, and possibly increasing my charges and my time, right? Because I was already looking at a long ass time. So,
because you keep doing more orders,
yeah,
you're gonna increase more time.
Yeah, so my boldness for myself at that moment to jump and stick that person when I needed to got me put in the hole. You know, and I'm not gonna say I'm a coward for that. You know, I put my work in. I got thrown in the hole. I had to do what I had to do. You know, because I can't refuse to do. You know, have my people's backs. You know, so. But luckily, I got sent to the hole and sentenced institutionally. You know what I mean? I had to do the remainder of my sentence, 18 months in the Supermax. Sorry.
So YA and Clark County.
YA Clark County's Nevada.
Those are the two institutions you were in.
I was in the YA. I was in Clark County Detention, which is a county jail.
Okay.
And then I was in Indian Springs, High Desert Supermax, and Ely Supermax.
Okay, and I want to ask, in each of those, what was like some of the worst things you've seen?
Man, the very worst thing I ever saw was I wasn't even involved in it. When we leave the fish tank, okay, fish tank is reception. You're there for 90 days until you're classified as to what unit you're gonna go to, depending on who you run with and what your crime is. Like white collar crimes are gonna put in with white collars, which is like fraud, check, bank fraud, robbery, the paper crimes. They won't put you in there with aggravated criminals. So, of course, if I had an aggravated battery with a deadly weapon because I beat that football player up, and so they classified me as such. And when what was your question though?
Like the worst thing you've seen at each.
So when you get out of the fish tank, when you leave the fish tank and you're classified, you gather up all your stuff and your belongings. You go hit this one trail and you get it to this open yard, all right, where there's unit 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 in a circle, and you have a central yard. So all 5 of those units come out at the same time for yard time. Okay. Mm-hmm. So as I'm standing there, there's an Aryan Brotherhood walking up on this big old boy that came out of the fish tank, man. And I don't remember what his name was, but he had to be at least 6'6", 300 pounds, something, being loudmouth and being all obnoxious and crazy and shit. And I don't know, that's not something you want to choose to be right there, as far as, you know, getting out of reception and trying to make a scene for shit. I don't know what his deal was.
Yeah.
But the littlest, stockiest, I'm assuming Aryan Brotherhood dude, you know, because this was a white boy and, you know, everybody handles their own, walks up to this dude with this yard biscuit, this big ass rock.
When you say everybody handles their own,
meaning if there's somebody that violates, your own kind has to handle it.
Gotcha. Okay.
If not, what happens is another race would handle it, and then you're disrespected because you couldn't handle your own people, and yada yada yada. So it's something you stay away from, is getting involved with things like that. But he picked up this rock, you know, and this prison is brand new. Okay, not even the units were not even filled yet.
Okay.
There's pieces of construction laying around, you know, and rocks, stone, raw concrete, and he picks up this rock, walks up right behind him, and pow, just pops on my back of his head, and you see just this red spray come out the back of his head, and dude dropped like, it was twitching. I don't know if he died or what, but they took him off on a stretcher, and that's the very first thing I saw. Trip, yeah. It was a trip.
Okay, and then you're at Supermax and you're about to get out. I want to get to that.
Okay.
But being in Supermax, let me rephrase this. With you working in mental health now, looking at yourself then, with the things you know now, what did the Supermax, what did that solitary confinement, what did everything do for your mental health when you look back at it?
So, that's weird because I reflect on that for myself, man, and I think back to like, how did I do that shit? How did I sit that long in that little box?
Yeah.
But all I can remember is just being on, I don't know, automatic mode, or you're like almost not there, bro. It's like you're not the person that's there. You're like this mentality that's in this room, and it was weird for me to be able to separate myself from myself in the cell. I don't know if you understand what that means, but I was constantly here and not
you
in
programmed
myself.
Yourself in a manner to
not be living in that fucking second, in that moment, in that room.
Gotcha.
The smells, the sounds, the fucking, the conformity, it's horrible, man. You know what I mean? So I just figured out a way how to just be in my head and free, so to speak, man. And it's weird to say that, man, but out loud it sounds crazy as fuck, but that's what it was, man. Like, I just learned how not to be there. You're 18 months in this soundproof, smell-proof, no window having, no window, yeah. You hear nothing but screams and moans and people fighting with the guards and chains and keys and clanks and yelling, screaming, constantly banging on doors and shit. It's horrible, man. It's bad. So as a mental health professional right now, I don't know how I did it. Honestly, I don't know how the fuck I did it. Just thinking about that right now, man. I felt like I was locked up for a second there, bro. Just hearing all that shit, it's crazy. It's bad.